in real life. It's the craziest rock course and the craziest desert that you're ever going to race in. Brand new car this year, 2025 Polaris RZR Pro R. From top to bottom, it's just absolutely dialed. It's got the best parts on there. It's super comfortable to drive, and the more I drive it, the better I feel. But the ultimate goal is to finish the desert race, place well with all the big dogs, and then come in, do the rock race, place well with the big dogs.
Welcome back to the channel, guys. My name is Andy DeSoto with Triple S Polaris. Today we got Michael Lee. He just got back from KOH a couple weeks ago, and we're just going to jump in. Before we get into the KOH, Michael, tell me a little bit about yourself and your background. How did you get into off-road racing?
So I'm from Alabama originally. We started racing on-road stuff, drag racing, drifting, road racing, autocross, all of that, and then slowly evolved into dirt bikes and four-wheelers, and we were always into Jeeps along the way, though. And so as we just got further into it, it just kind of like, I think this is the test that we want to do, because it kind of tests all aspects, you know? Like, you got to have that, the motor, the suspension, the brakes, the driver endurance, like everything is tested. And so we were just like, oh, just keep doing this. And so that was kind of how it did. And so the Jeep stuff evolved. We had a big off-road background, and just slowly evolved into that. So,
I feel like a lot of the automotive stuff translates into the off-road stuff. It's just,
for sure it does.
Wheel travel and different.
Yeah. I think there's an advantage too. Like, people that have like road race or drift experience, like Vaughn Gittin's a perfect example coming over. Like, it's everything that we're doing off-road, which you're just going through bigger stuff, you know, like it's not a smooth road. So there's a lot of really good aspects that carry over, though, for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you guys have a lot of terrain out there, like public lands you can go explore?
So we don't have any public land.
Oh,
yeah, it's all, nothing. It's all private. And so, like, if you get a chance to go ride, it's either state-owned property or private property, and you get a chance to go ride. You have to pay to enter.
Okay.
It's a limited space, you know. Some are pretty large parks.
Are the parks pretty cool? Like,
yeah, they're pretty cool. Yeah. But there's been a lot of issues over the years where, you know, people get hurt and they sue the person or the park or the state, and they shut them down. They don't have as many events and stuff. So it's almost like it's a dying breed. So it's like, you know, you sign the waiver, they still come after you.
Those insurance policies got to be not cheap for sure.
Not at all. Yeah.
Right on, man. Well, that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Other than like your personal program, what else do you do?
So I have an automotive shop still.
Okay.
It's a repair shop in Alabama still. We've had it for 13 years. Stay super busy. We do a ton of fleet work, and just, you know, we're in the heart of downtown Birmingham. So we service a lot of commuters and everyone. And then we also have a foundation repair company here in Southern Utah.
Okay.
So
what's that called?
Red Rock Foundation Solutions. Okay. Yeah. So it's, you know, in its growing stage still. Yeah. But it's keeping me busy and learning a lot. Really fun.
And I follow you. You reshare a lot of your kids going on their bike rides and stuff.
Yeah.
And some crazy jumping.
Oh, yeah.
Tell me a little bit about them.
Yeah. So that was a really big part of us moving out here too. We had a lot of private parks where you go ride, but it was kind of like the extreme level wasn't kind of getting there. And so obviously Red Bull Rampage is hosted here, and they enjoy that kind of stuff. But yeah, they are incredible bike riders. My daughter's 13, she's about to be 14, and my son's 11. And they do free ride stuff. They backflip 360s, and they do.
They're so good.
Yeah, they're crazy.
I watch their videos, and I'm like, holy smokes.
And they run the whole Monster Pro downhill series.
Okay.
And so we'll be going coast to coast. There's one racing park, or where is Solitude up in the Salt Lake area.
North.
Yep. This year, and then we go to Canada every year. And we're up there for a few weeks and racing. So we stay busy with race schedules. But the cool thing is Peyton just got on the Monster Army.
Dude,
so
that's
yeah,
huge.
it's like the athlete development program for the young kids coming up and stuff. So really stoked on that. She's going to be able to have opportunities, get paid to podium, and
heck yeah,
you know, just some development to kind of steer her the proper way.
Did they have any trouble adjusting from Alabama coming here?
No, not at all. I mean, they missed their friends and stuff. I think that's going to be part of it. But man, they just jumped right in. You know, we've been coming out here for a while, so they were just really excited to get out here and start training and pushing themselves and their limits a little bit. So.
Yeah, I feel like with social media too, I know there's a lot of negatives, but I feel like everybody's on the same page as far as like trends and what's happening now and stuff. So
Yeah.
if you move nowadays, like across the country, like all the kids are into the same thing. You know, the same songs are trending and stuff
Right.
like that. So I feel like it's easier on that aspect.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Yeah.
leaving your friends and stuff, that can be pretty hard.
Right. But it fits our lifestyle better just from the off road racing, the culture overall. And then like the bike industry is so big here.
Oh, dude,
it's just
this
like,
is- yeah.
I mean, you go ride and every time we go ride, we ride with a legit professional athlete, you know?
Yeah,
So,
this is definitely the mecca.
Yeah.
There's so much going on here.
right. Yeah.
And
So-
and for those reasons that you moved here. So
yeah. So it's
couldn't
nice.
leave
And
that
they
place.
actually fit better here. Like,
okay.
just
that's cool.
A little bit more relating to the people that, you know,
The stuff
they want to
they're
be
into and
around.
stuff. So
Yeah. Cause like on the East Coast, it's like, you do what?
yeah,
It's just not that big of a deal. I don't know. They're just
Right on.
it's a little different aspect.
I
So,
bet it has a lot to do, excuse me, with the terrain and stuff out there versus like here.
yeah.
So
A lot of trees, a lot of woods. It's growing. There's a lot of parks that are growing, but there's just not a lot of like free ride. It's not open public land. Like everything has to be through a park, through the state, like whatever. And then you're paying to get into it. It's only open certain times. And
okay,
it's just, it's a little more coordinated, but yeah, it can definitely hinder
okay.
your timeline of what you're able to do for your
Yeah.
schedule. So,
So KOH this year. Before we get into that, how'd it go last year?
KOH last year was good. For the most part, it was a new car then. It was a 23 leftover car. And we just kind of whipped it together real quick and jumped right in. Shock package wasn't great, but the suspension, it was good enough. And we were just saying, let's just get through and learn the car.
Yeah.
So the desert race, I think we finished 10th overall. Or
Okay.
maybe it was 10th in the class. I'm not
That's
sure.
really-
But like,
Yeah.
it's such a big deal because you have the factory team there. Like anybody that's racing Baja is there, basically.
Okay,
So
yeah.
like your top 10 Baja racers are there. And like your top 10 US racers are there. So like everyone's kind of compiled into one. So it was kind of a big deal. And it was kind of the first time of like, I'm jumping in this desert race thing and let's really see where we stand.
Okay.
So it went good. Learned a lot. And then I really wasn't thrilled about the rock race. Like it was a new car. It was all shiny. And
Yeah.
we pre-ran a little bit in it. And
It's got to be hard, dude.
yeah, and it was just like, man, you don't want to beat it up. And I was like, you know what? We have enough experience. That was year 6 or 7 at that point. And I'm like, we're just going to take what's given to us. Like, we get there, we'll just ride it. And honestly, thankfully, we didn't do much more pre-running because the motor blew up in the rock race 30 miles into the race.
Yeah.
Nothing that we could have prevented. It's just a freak accident.
Okay. It's part of racing, right?
Part of racing, yeah. So we got it recovered and Polaris took care of us and got us a motor and we were able to race the Med 400 shortly
Good
after.
deal.
So, yeah.
So now tapping into 2025, I know we scrambled a little bit to get you a car.
Oh, yeah.
They were pretty scarce just because they were, brand new machine.
Right.
And we finally locked one in. We had to transport it over here. You picked it up. And how many days did you have to get that thing brought?
Oh, man. So I picked that car up from you guys, Triple S, on a Friday.
Yeah.
I want to say, in like December 7th. I took that car home and took it down to the bare chassis that night and then took it to UTV Pros that morning. And then I left that afternoon or that evening to go to Alabama. And we were gone for 10 days.
Yeah.
So it was kind of up to the UTV Pros, like, hey, I need you to really push and get the fab work done.
Car on them.
Yeah. And when I get back, we'll kind of go through some stuff. And so, yeah, December 7th. And they had the cage work done and most of the panels and stuff. But that's the easy part when it comes down to it. Like, you still got to fit the fuel cell. You got to fit the seats. You got to fit the dash and seat belts. And
Yeah.
all your packaging comes into play. And that becomes the hardest part. So, we have to deal with Christmas, New Year's, people taking off
right.
work. So then it really became a grind. Like right after New Year's, it was just every single day inside the shop and, pushing these people to do as much as they can, like their staff just to do as much as they can. And
Yeah.
I'm sure they were sick of me coming in there and like trying to help, but like, hey, no, we need to do it this way. But no, they did great. Carter and Jaden just took control over there. And,
Yeah, their work's really good.
yeah, they did great, and we got it done. And we kind of had a lull in parts stuff, so I'd like take the car home over the weekend and do some wiring or do some fitting, and then bring it back on a Monday and they do some stuff. So, but yeah, we kind of got behind schedule. It just happens.
Yeah,
it's so hard. Yeah, I mean, you're waiting on parts, you're waiting on the little stuff to come through, and then I think we got it test ready a week before we left. So it was like, okay, let's get it out there and test. And we had some issues. We had some cooling issues. It was wanting to overheat, and we had some suspension issues, and just little stuff. But it was nice to be able to have that week before leaving for Hammers to kind of iron some stuff out.
Show up before you do a good shakedown. You did it all in Sand Hollow?
Yeah, we did it all in Sand Hollow. So it was cool. It's nice. It's a little bit, like, you think it's rough when you ride it all the time. I mean, you're like, man, it's pretty chunky out here. The whoop's going to get bad.
Yeah.
But it does not compare to Johnson Valley. Like, we thought we had a good suspension setup, and we get over to Johnson Valley, and I had to do a bunch of media stuff and all this. And I finally get out there and shake it down out there, and I'm like, whoa, we're way off.
Really?
So we had to go make some changes. Yeah.
Okay.
But it's part of it. You just got to expect it, and it's how you respond to that, right?
Yeah. So that's what you got to do. You just got to keep making adjustments as you go and hope for the best. How'd you finish?
So the desert race, we did not finish.
Okay.
We, again, just new car issues. I don't know. It was just a bunch of little stuff. But in qualifying, we hit sorry.
You're good.
In qualifying, we hit like a really big G out, and the headlight fell out of the car, the right front headlight, and then it got pinched. The harness got pinched in the coil on a compression.
Ooh.
And there's an orange wire in there, and it controls all of your like cluster electronics. It's your main power wire, and it pinched it, shorted out, blew a fuse. So we lost all power. Like, the car was sputtering, no cluster, no power steering, no nothing. That was like literally the first rough section. We had to go all the way around this big mountain. So we qualified terribly because of that. I was like, all right, it's fine. We'll just learn the car,
shake it off, and
it's 265 miles this year. Like, we'll be able to iron it out and we'll figure it out. And we made it through lap one. We picked off a ton of cars. Like, we felt like a good pace. Nursing it a little bit, and it was still overheating on us some. It was a radiator placement issue. It wasn't anything that we were having, but we got it fixed later on. But anyways, coming into the end of the first lap, this regular old hill I've gone down 100 times. I came in really hot on it. It came up on the ridge, and it just dropped. And the car just did one little slight roll. It wasn't that big of a deal. We got out, and we're like, okay, well, we're going to have to recover the car. And the staff, the Ultra 4 recovery staff, was like, "Do you want help to recover the car?" I'm like, "Yeah, for sure. Like, we're on this gnarly downhill, and there's cars blindly coming over the hill. Like, we need help." And like, you would think they're going to hook up a winch cable, be very smart and thorough about this, and make sure everybody's safe. I'm sitting in the car strapped in, no warning, no nothing, and they push me.
Oh, geez.
Down the hill. We're just rolling down the hill.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, no warning, no like, hey, we're going to push you over.
Yeah.
Nothing. Like, the car was in park, so I wasn't able to like try and drive out of it. And we just kept tumbling. We finally landed on the driver's side A-B pillar, that main hoop bar right there, and it landed right on a rock and just caved the cage in.
Ooh.
So that was pretty frustrating. And then they finally got smart and got a winch cable on us. Winched us over the proper way. But yeah, I mean, the car had no damage, and then they pushed us, and it had significant damage.
How far down did you go down that?
Pretty much all the way down the hill. Yeah, so I think it was like, we were one full roll, and then after that, I think it was 4 more once they pushed us.
Yeah.
So it was a big hill. Anyways, that was frustrating. So we didn't finish the desert race because of that.
Okay.
But got the car fixed up. Tons of people helped out. The Fab School was huge help. They were on the lake board, on the lake bed, and welders, benders, cutters, I mean, anything. And they just were hands-on, fix it in like 3 hours.
That's awesome, dude. And they're just there just to help people out.
Yeah. Not even racers. Like, if anybody was just there, just like, hey, I was riding and something broke, like, they'll fix it for you.
That's cool. That's why I like our community. I feel like there's always people that are, if you get stuck or you break or something, they won't leave you back for the most part.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's other cases, but
yeah, no, and it seems that way. Like, even our neighbors that were in the pit, like, after we got back, they're like, okay, what do you need help with? And I was like, well, I got to change out all the rear suspension. They're like, okay,
let's go.
And I was like, well, okay, what? And like, next thing you know, like, they brought a whole tool cart over. 5 guys just slaying away, and they had the entire rear suspension swapped out. I was like, awesome.
Yeah.
So it's kind of motivating, like people want to see competitors
Yeah.
get in there and race. So
Absolutely.
it was cool. Yeah, the community's awesome now. It's it goes a long way. It pays off, having that. So
Having those right connections and you just never know too, like who's gonna come out of the woodworks and help you out, and
Yeah.
it's always awesome to.
Yeah, no, and you get to meet so many new people, and like
Yeah.
some of the people now, like we've got a good connection, and they become friends.
Build those relationships up.
Yeah,
and
for sure. So
good deal.
but then we got into the rock race qualifying. We thought we were good, and the suspension that I put on, the trailing arm that I put on, had like 5,000 miles on it.
Ooh.
And we hit a huge boulder coming down and just ripped the trailing arm in half. Like it didn't break it; it literally split it like this.
Oh, that's crazy.
So we didn't finish qualifying. So it put us for a rear start in the qualifying or for the rock race. So we were like 82nd. I think we actually got a pretty good draw because I think it was 110 people that actually qualified.
Okay.
There was 137 people in the race. And so I was like, man, we got a decent draw. Like it's not terrible. We're on the front pack of the people that didn't finish a qualifying lap or whatever. So it's 2 full laps of desert this year, like 65-mile laps. And then you got in your rocks like about 3/4 of the way through. And so that helped us a ton because people eat themselves up in the desert. Like they think they are BJ Baldwin and they're either crashing out or, breaking stuff. So we passed a lot of cars from Carnage, and then we passed, I think we went from 82nd to 25th in the first lap.
Dude, that's huge.
Yeah. Physical.
Yeah.
And so I don't know what it wasn't corrected. And then like we came back through, like coming into the rocks, and we're entering the first rock trail, Aftershock. And I'm like, that guy started 15th. And I think it was Brian Deegan. I'm like, maybe he had an issue. And then like we passed Bryce Menzies, and then we passed Casey Curry. And I'm like, whoa, we're doing pretty good.
Yeah,
like
you're
it feels
moving.
good. Yeah. And I was like, maybe they all just had bad luck. And then like we're in the front pack. Like we're probably in that, like the first 5 kind of run away, and we're probably in that like 10th to 15th pack.
Okay.
And it was good. I thought my pace was good. I felt good. I wasn't wearing myself out or anything. The car was in good health. And another guy came up on idle issues or her problem. It was right after Chocolate Thunder. We were just cruising. We go up it all the time. It's not that big of a trail. Like I don't know, people get excited and stuff happens. And this guy flipped right in front of me. I'm like, all right, we'll just wait. So my co-driver gets out. He helps him flip him over. Well, his winch cable breaks. And so the course worker comes down. He's like, hey, you got to back up and go around and find another path. I'm like, my goodness, can't we just wait? Like, it'll be 5 more minutes. He's backing me down, and he backed me off this boulder, and I flipped too.
Oh, jeez.
So that started the run of the bad luck for the rock race.
Yeah.
But
Is it the same guys that pushed you over?
it wasn't the same guys, but I was definitely not happy with the recovery crew of King of the Hammers, I will say. But, stuff happens, and at the end of the day, you just learn from it. Like, you can't get mad at anybody, like they're trying to help, they're volunteers. But they learn from it, I'm sure, and I know we do too. So we got that corrected back over, ended up in the exact same spot. And then we got past everybody. And, but in that we figured out, we didn't know at the time, but the right rear radius rod bent a little bit. And so we had a ton of positive camber. And so that right side just wanted to kind of tip. The wheel was kind of rolled up underneath the car. And so shortly after that, good pace. I was like, man, we're definitely running good still, even with that little mishap. Rolled the car again on that right side. It was just the off-camera thing. It just kind of tucked and rolled. Couldn't get anybody to recover us for like almost an hour.
Oh, geez.
And we couldn't self-recover.
Yeah.
And so finally somebody stopped, got us over, got into the big rock trails after that. It was pretty chill after that. We're going for a Sunday cruise. Like it's 11 o'clock. We have a lot of time to finish this race, and we'll be good. Like, I'm not worried about it. And we literally just cruised. Like, it was just a simple trail ride.
Yeah.
And we crossed the finish line, maybe 30 minutes left. And I was like, yeah, we're like 40th or 50th. And I think after all the adjustments, it was 20th overall.
Heck yeah.
Out of 137 people.
That's good, man. That's awesome.
Yeah. So like
with all the issues that you went through, and
yeah, it just goes to show you the, attrition.
So you got to keep pushing.
Yeah. The attrition of that race is the biggest part.
Yeah.
Because
yeah, you can lose that race the first 30 minutes, if not, it's
Sooner. Yeah.
it's you got to really pace yourself, and
Yeah.
it's a, what do they call it? It's a oh man, my mind went blank. It's not a sprint, it's a marathon.
Yeah, that's exactly it. Yeah.
So,
Yeah, and so I think we finished 10th in class, in the pro open class. So it's not our best finish, but it was the hardest it's ever been.
Yeah.
They made sure you stayed in the rocks this year. And so for some reason, like, I'm not sure if more people are recreating out there or something, but like everything just seemed worse. We're in bigger cars, more capable cars, and I mean, I've been rock crawling a lot the last year and a half, and like it just has gotten worse. Like the rocks are bigger, the ledges are bigger, so it made it for a challenge, which it showed.
Yeah.
With so few people finishing this year.
What's your take on like the UTVs kind of beating a lot of the big like Ultra 4 cars and stuff? You get a lot of people just talking crap on the internet and stuff.
Yeah. So my thought on that is like, if those cars are like the big Ultra 4 cars are healthy and if they can figure out a way to make them more reliable, there's no stopping them. 100%. The UTVs can only do so much, and like the drivers of them, we know we can't go hit rock. We don't have 40-inch tires or 42-inch tires. So we know that we can't hit certain things, and we have to snake around certain stuff. And the course kind of played in the UTV favor this year because it was a slow and technical rock crawling course. It wasn't like a bunch of hero line stuff.
Yeah.
If you're doing that, you're not finishing the race. And so the big cars, the Ultra 4 cars, they have to, kind of take different lines, and they're trying to get through that stuff as fast as possible, and stuff breaks. But yeah, heads up, like, I don't think that Lauren Healy's car, like, it's always going to outperform
Oh yeah.
a UTV
Yeah, absolutely.
if it's healthy.
Yeah.
It's just, you just can't compare them. So luck goes a long way. It is a marathon in these races. Hats off to Cal Chaney because he drove a hell of a race, but he was smart. Like he knew, like, dude, people are going to pass me and they're going to break and I'm going to pass them back. And like, he's talked about that a lot in the years past. And it's the same for the UTV rock race. Like you may pass me, but I promise you, if we're healthy, we're probably going to end up passing you back.
So yeah. You see that all the whole race. That's what it's all, that's what you're looking at.
Yeah. So I don't think that. I mean, people are upset like the UTVs are allowed to race, but people need to understand those are purpose-built race cars. Those are 4,400 purpose-built race cars with a Can-Am or Polaris drivetrain in them.
Yeah.
That's it. They meet all the rules.
Something off the showroom floor.
Not at all.
And hence, vice versa too. Like Healy's car, it's not a Bronco. It's a two chassis Ultra 4.
Yeah.
Racing machine.
Right.
So
Triton Engineering built it.
Do you know, or I'm sorry, my next question was, I like to hear a lot about like just what drivers do to mentally prepare, and also like, do you carb up? How do you hydrate? Like, do you do anything unique or special?
Not really. I tried last year to kind of focus on just fitness a little bit more. And I can't really say if it helped or not, because like you really have to prepare for it like almost as a marathon, and it's kind of hard to find, I don't know the proper ways to train for that. So I think moving forward, I might try and get some more pedal time on a bike or a Peloton or something and just dedicate 2 or 3 hours.
Okay.
To kind of get your heart rate up, stress your brain out a little bit, push yourself and get that endurance. The endurance and the mental endurance as well. But no, we try and, you maybe eat some noodles the night before, make a spaghetti dinner, as much water as you can. I'm not a big IV fan or anything. So
what's your choice of snacks like in the car?
Oh man, I'm about to sneeze.
I know PB&J is like a big popular one.
Yeah. So our favorite snack, I like the protein bars.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are easy too.
Yeah, they're easy. So just keep them in the door bag, and like if we stop in the pits or like the rock race is easy because you get stuck in a pinch, like you're just waiting on somebody. I've learned with that too, like don't go look for the hero line, like just be patient. It will clear out. And at that point, I'm usually grabbing in the door bag and eating a quick little protein bar, even if it's just a bite or something. But that's probably the easiest thing to do is a protein bar. Yeah, PB&Js, we've had, I Uncrustables before.
Oh, dude, yeah.
Yeah, those are pretty solid.
Those are ridiculously good. Like you'll make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich at home, and that will taste better.
Yeah,
whatever
for
reason.
sure.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah. Now in the hotter races though, it's not as good. Like you have to have them frozen to start, and like you get like in Vegas Reno, we had them at one point, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be so good. And it was the worst thing ever. It was like 110-degree Uncrustable, and it was not the same.
Dude, the other day I pulled one out of the freezer and I popped it into the air fryer. Oh my gosh.
What?
The inside was still like cold and the outside was like crusty. You got to try that.
We got to try this.
Yeah, it is. I don't know, like, because I don't like it when it's out of the freezer.
Right.
It's like, it's frozen.
Yeah.
Like the insides.
Yeah.
So I let it thaw out a little bit. I let it sit on the couch or on the countertop, and I was like, man, I don't want to wait. Like, I want it now. So I threw it in it was, dude, game changer.
Man, that's awesome. I'll have to try it for sure.
So now that we're wrapping up KOH, are you going back next year or?
Yeah. So as of right now, I finished that race this year, and I literally got out of the car. I was like, I'm not racing the rock race anymore. It's hard. I would race it again if everything could align properly, I guess is the best way to put it, because you need a dedicated pre-runner. You have to put the paces through. I mean, you have to put in the homework, and it does pay off, because we didn't pre-run that much this year, and it was bad. Because there are, like, if you just come up with something like, oh, that's the line, you're not getting out and looking at it, it's probably not the line. Like, there's a lot of options that are easier and sometimes more technical. But yeah, you gotta have a dedicated pre-runner, and then if I could get like a dedicated rock car, maybe. Maybe just a pre-runner, but like it's really hard to have a dedicated desert car and a dedicated, and then try and race that in the rock race.
Yeah.
So that's I don't know. We'll see how that plays out. I love the aspect of the race. Like, it's such a challenge, and if Dave keeps people in the rocks, it's a game changer.
Yeah.
So like, I know we have the speed, I know we have the talent, I know we have the program to do it, but you got to have. I probably need 2 more cars to make it.
Just so you can, like you said, put in your homework and your notes and stuff, and really have a good advantage that way.
For sure. But we'll see how it plays out. We'll definitely do the desert race, because again, like, everyone just shows up at this point. It's the largest off-road race. I mean, I know the 1000 is big, but the live stream. We're just kind of touch back on the live stream.
It's only a matter of time, dude. We see it on ESPN and all these other sport networks and live streams.
Yeah, for sure. So what's been really cool is I've seen people post like a bunch of Instagram or Facebook stories, and they're like eating at a chain restaurant. And
that's cool.
It's on like this week. Like, I guess they're doing recap shows and like all those adventure channels or whatever. And the KOH races are on.
That's really cool.
So like, I'm sitting there, you could be at Buffalo Wild Wings or something, and then
just watching
there I am.
Yeah.
Awesome. So like, it's here. Like, it's real.
Yeah.
Our next step for sure is to get a live stream set up. It's expensive, but it's worth it.
Oh yeah.
It's
especially in the way the direction that the sport's going. Like, it's you have to jump on that.
Yeah.
As soon as you can.
For sure. But it's a large investment, and so, but I have to look at it as it's a long-term investment too.
Yeah.
It's a $5,000 after it's all said and done deal. But I think it's worth it if you can sit here at work and watch me race the Mid 400. Like,
dude,
that's cool. Or you put it on the big screen.
We definitely had the race going on. For the 2 weeks or a week and a half that was they were streaming it.
Right.
So
yeah, but imagine like. You're at Buffalo Wild Wings and
that's
live,
the huge one.
Like you have a sports bar or whatever, and you're just like, oh, here's so-and-so's in-car footage.
Yeah, and it catches you by surprise. You're not expecting it. You're like, holy crap, I'm watching my buddy Michael Lee on TV right now.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, that's right. So I think it's important. I'm actually debating on doing it before the Met, and just we'll see. And if we don't do it before the Met, we'll definitely have it for the future races.
Who's the company that does it?
Starstream Pro.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's I think I know the guy that does it. Is it George Hamill?
I think he's involved in it. Yeah, I want to say. I forgot the guy's name. I've talked to him a couple times, but it might be George. I don't know. But it's cool. Like, he has everything's integrated. You have it hardwired in, and you don't have to go turn on this camera and turn on that camera and connect your Starlink. Like, you push one button
And you're live.
and you're live.
Dude.
And, that goes into their cloud. And so when it's done, they send you all of your footage too.
That's awesome.
So, and, they're working with the race organizations, like they're doing it with Legacy this weekend. And that's how they're making their live feed.
You use Starlink for
the
car?
Yeah, you have to have Starlink, and then you have to, connect it and just uploads to the cloud that way. So
right on. That's awesome, dude.
yeah, but it's cool. I mean, Dave Cole 2 years ago at SEMA kind of brought it up. It was like, we're going to have a black box inside of a car, and it's going to hook up to your ECU, and it's going to have a yaw rate sensor in there. It's going to tell you how much throttle is being applied, how much brake's being applied, how fast you're going. Think about that.
That's
on the screen.
So cool, man. Because you can literally see if they're pushing it or they're not. Or
oh, he's just half throttle, just cruising, or like, oh, he's on the gas. It's coming. In 5 years, the off-road racing
so interesting. To be looking at all those numbers and
the parameters,
watching the race and
in 5 years though, the off-road racing industry is going to be a completely different deal.
Yeah, I agree.
And it's it's not just because off-road, it's everything. The technology's
catching up to it, and there's just so much. I feel like there's just as much enthusiasts for just motorsports in general than ball sports like basketball and stuff. And the last time I looked, man, I don't know, like tickets to go see the Jazz were like $10.
Yeah.
It's a professional basketball team.
Right.
I feel like that stuff's just kind of dying a little bit. I could be wrong. I don't know. But
yeah. I mean, some are expensive. I think it just depends on the
outfit. That's true.
I think they flooded the whole sports market too much. Like NBA's played too many games. NFL's played too many games. They're playing a lot now.
Yeah.
And baseball.
I think 162 games. Kind of be, America's sport.
For sure.
But I think off-road's right next to it, if not second.
Yeah. And more and more influencers are getting involved in motorsports, and like Cletus McFarlane, Garrett Mitchell. Yeah. Like that's a huge thing that I love watching him. He's cool. I look at him as somebody that I know. So he's a friend. And next thing you know, he is racing NASCAR.
I watch his races. Dude, I think that's what NASCAR needs.
Right. I think that's what motorsports needs in general, though. Like it's not about, and some people may take this the wrong way, but like the daddy's money, family money, like, oh, you're racing karts from day one, and like you're going to be a sprint car driver and you're going to be a cup driver or a F1 driver. Like, you take that out of it, but like the true, genuine, passionate people that are fighting for it.
Get some underdogs in there.
Yeah.
Everybody roots for that.
Yeah. But like, and then this personality, like you want a personality that's in there. So motorsports needs that, I feel like. And they need that. They need the behind the scenes, you know, like
the reality show before the race and all that
like
stuff.
even Supercross, like with Deegan and stuff, like, he's a little angry sometimes and he speaks his mind, but like, that's how we feel as racers sometimes, like, so I wouldn't want everyone to hear my in-car sometimes, but it's probably not a good idea sometimes.
If you didn't have that competitive edge to you, like you wouldn't be in the sport like that.
Yeah.
That you are in.
Yeah, for sure. And again, I'm not trying to say like the people that have an easier path aren't, but
no, I get it.
We just need personalities such as Cletus.
That's a good mix.
I mean, can you imagine if they did the same thing with off-road?
Yeah.
Like, oh, Cletus is racing King of the Hammers next year. Like, it probably is, like, at this point. Like, I wouldn't be surprised. But Vaughn Gittin being involved in it, that's been a huge, changeover and brings his drifting community into the sport. And they're going, oh, what's this?
Yeah.
More of those people are getting involved. So.
Heck yeah. I'm excited, man. Where this sport's going, it's just the sky's the limit.
For sure.
And it's definitely headed in that direction really fast.
Yeah. It's exciting. Can't wait to see it.
All right, man. I don't want to take too much more of your time. Is there any sponsors you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, of course. I got my list, so I don't have to think about it.
Yeah,
today.
that's the way to
go. Obviously, Triple S Polaris. You guys hooked it up with a car. And, really appreciate that.
Thanks, man.
It was hard to get one.
Dude.
Nobody had one.
They were scarce. Yeah, we had to get one shipped from Arizona.
Yeah.
Like northern Arizona.
Yeah, and so it happens. But you got it done, and it worked out good. That one died. It was too hot. Oh wow. Yeah. So DRT Motorsports is our big sponsor for the year. They were joined us last year and back with us this year, and they're trying to do some more race development stuff. So that's really good. Polaris RZR obviously helps us out, getting us cars and parts. MRT tires are pretty cool. They make the Pro Armor stuff too. So, they've been with me since day one, almost 10 years ago.
Okay.
They've been good. Infinite Off-Road, lighting stuff. They're awesome. Incredible stuff. Rugged Radios keeps us connected. Fox shocks. We have the Fox Factory IBP Race Series shocks with Shock Therapy springs. So Shock Therapy takes care of us on some hard parts as well. UTV Pros built the car, all the fab work. Really cool. Super ATV, we run their skid plate. We ran their winch at the race.
Okay.
Pandemic Performance tuning. We use our cams too sometimes, but we're just for the desert stuff. We just run them all stock, the engine, but we use their tuning, and it goes a long way. 503 Designs. They're out of Oregon. They built us window nets for this car, and they've done it for probably 6 years for us. And they've really cool stuff.
Nice.
So they're really good people. Union Graphic Company. They're down in Southern Utah as well, and did the wrap and stuff and the design for it. Switchworks, also based out of Southern Utah.
Yeah, their stuff's really good.
Yeah, really cool panel. Really glad to have them on. And
Cleans everything up. And
it's so easy to wire up too. Like it takes the headache out of everything. So it's clean. So really glad to have them. Triton Engineering, been working with them on some new radiator products. So we're going to develop a new Pro R specific radiator for rear mount race applications. Nice. It's going to be really cool. Sandcraft is a new one we joined on, and then Liqui Moly using all their oils now moving forward, and then CA Tech, they're all East Coast company, running their trailing arms now, and then Geyser Performance, so running their front end, their new vertical uniball, billet knuckles and everything. So that's kind of the people that make it all happen, and it takes an army, as you can see.
Yeah.
And my family.
Yeah, the family doesn't get enough credit, I feel.
No, and she's my wife, Maria. She tolerates it, and I feel bad sometimes and guilty. And hey, I need to do this, and she's like, "Well, you better do it."
Yeah,
so that goes a long way.
It makes it easier to have that support.
Yeah, and it's important for the kids to see it too.
Yeah,
because at the end of the day, I am chasing a dream and something that I'm passionate about. So I think it's, as a family, we want to push that to our kids.
Yeah.
Which makes a big deal. We want to see, you got to see the struggles. You got to see what it takes. You got to see the costs. You got to see all aspects of it and say, this is real. And this is what it takes to be a professional at anything you want to do. It doesn't matter if it's racing or, a business professional or anything. Like, it is hard work.
Yeah. Anything you do, if you don't go in it, full throttle, it's just, you're just going to be average.
Yeah. Yeah. And so, at the end of the day, it's like, you got to do better. Right. And so that's what I want to teach to my family and the people that support me too. Like, they all do great, but like, let's all do better together. So I always want to interlink anybody that's helping me and try and grow everybody together.
Sounds good, man. So we ready for the Mint?
I think so. Yeah. We're ready. We're going to try and get out and do a little pre-running down there. Hopefully this week. And then just try and dial those shocks in a little bit better because the Mint's gnarly. It's some deep holes, all square edge, and racing the same way we did last year too. Okay. So you don't get the jump off backwards off the big jumps.
Do you guys go before the trophy trucks, or
we do? Yeah.
Okay, so that's obviously an advantage.
It helps, but honestly, man, everyone is testing there now. Yeah. Like Herps is down there at 1.9, and they're testing. And every trophy truck team is down there testing, and Gene. So it's pretty beat up right now. I've heard some stories.
We definitely haven't had good, rain season. It's
but I wish we were running the opposite way, just because, then you're kind of jumping down.
Yeah,
you're the bigger stuff, but like hitting square edges, it hurts.
Yeah, it's
it's important to get on top of the big whoops. So, but no, we're ready for it. I think.
Yeah,
we got the car all back together. Get some new panels made, and test drove it some yesterday and get some finalization and testing, tuning done, and cross our fingers and
let's go.
Yeah, we're just going out, and I'm going to keep my mental side just really smart. That's the big thing for this. It's like there's going to be people that pass me. There are people that are faster than me, but a lot of those people will have issues or break, and so I'm going to keep a good fast pace, but with conservative on my mind and the mental side of it. So Because I know last year when we did it, we like dropped down to like 8th or 9th, and then like a lap later we're 4th because of people braking.
Yeah.
You know, whatever. So I think we're just gonna stick to that mentality and cross our fingers that we cross that finish line, and at the end of the day, we're in a top spot.
Good deal, man. Yeah, I'll definitely catch you out there. I'll be down
Yeah.
there hanging out. So
Cool. Sounds good, man.
yeah, well, that's a wrap, guys. Thanks
Yeah.
for tuning in, and we'll catch you guys out on the trails. Thanks for coming in, Michael.
All right. Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
See ya.
See ya.